team ban.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Game number 3. This is it, possibly for Vega Squadron. If they can win here, they will be your Chi League Invitational European Region champions. If Singularity can keep things winning, who knows what can happen. But game number 3 of our best out of 5, Vega Squadron certainly looking like the stronger team so far. As they keep going back to, they have still yet to drop a match. They are 4-0 against Singularity in this very event. They just cannot seem to be figured out. But we'll see now in Game 3 what happens. As I'm Breaky CPK, joined by Hasbaz. It's been an uphill challenge, no doubt, for Singularity going into this. It's proven to be the case. How do you beat Vega Squadron? Well, we're going to start with the first pick soon. But they banned Dark Willow, and I can't say I blame them after the game was so bad last time around.
Yeah, you posed the question, and how do you beat this Vega Squadron squad? And last game, I thought Singularity might have had an answer, but they're going back to their tried and tested Grimstroke, and I think maybe they just have to focus a little bit more on their lanes going well, because we saw how the Lino Pimricek did get counterpicked because they didn't have last pick. We saw the Morphling have a pretty bad time, or although he did recover a bit. But I think maybe focus on their lanes and then get a few ganks rolling. See if you can keep the side of Vega Squadron down, because it just seems like every single game they've been able to hit a point where they're more than happy to group up as 5, and Singularity haven't been able to win those fights.
Yeah, the Grimstroke certainly hasn't been the issue for Singularity. If anything, it's given them actually a pretty good chance to have a shot in these games. Love to see going back to first pick Grimstroke, but yeah, I do go back to, and I like the idea of the Morphling pick initially in reaction as we were kind of theory crafting and talking about it and everything, but I really think that was part of the cleverness of Vega Squadron with their draft. I mean, this is a team that they first picked Sand King Leshrac the first game, and then they just completely changed it up and went into a Brewmaster Dark Willow the second game. So they're also showing that they have a bit of flex to them. As I say that, they are going to go back for the Brewmaster, in fact, this time around, and they also go the Lion. So a little bit of a takeaway maybe from Singularity, but Lion picked up for Vega Squadron for themselves.
Yeah, we saw exactly just last game that pairing of the Lion with Grimstroke, very powerful, because you get that dual Hex as well as the dual Finger of Death. And Lion, he's just a very good all-round support, whether you play him in the 4 position and he's able to scale and get an Ags, or whether you play him as the 5, he's able to offer a lot in lane, and he's just so annoying in lane as well with that mana drain. You have a support there who's trying to use stuns and spells, but they're just not able to because they're always run out of mana. And Singularity, it looks like they're going back to what they tried in game number 1, but I can expect this time we might see a Razor ban.
Yeah, they banned Amber Spirit off the bat, but I agree with you there. I think Razor is certainly a hero that they wouldn't mind banning as well. Clearly did very well in that previous game. And there are other matchups that could be considered good against Templar Assassin, but maybe not as better scaling as the Razor and the routes. Like, of course, the Jakiro comes to mind, for example, but are they really going to do that? So, thinking about what that 5th ban is going to be, but they also don't like Doom, apparently. I still stick back to that. I mean, even last game, that was a potential. Of course, you have a Grimstroke. What is one of the strongest double abilities in the game? It has to be Doom, but whether it's just they're not comfortable with the nerf to him or something else, they do not like the Doom. So no bans are even picked on the hero in this series yet.
I mean, that's a really good point about the Doom, because legitimately for the first 2 days of this patch, we were seeing him picked and banned almost consistently within the first phase, and now he hasn't been touched for what's looking like this entire 3-game series unless Singularity go back for it. And they ban out this PL once again. Obviously PL pretty good versus the Temporal Assassin, but he didn't get any major buffs to my knowledge, and there are most games that you see with a PL, you just turn out the tempo and he's never really able to come up, become that much of a factor. So it's interesting here that Singularity are really afraid of this PL hero.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of, like, did they want to go to the Morphling again? And, people consider pretty good, especially with the Diffusal Blade against a Morphling. But outside of that, I'm certainly with you. It's just kind of like a left field ban by Singularity that it just randomly hit them. Like, you know what? PL's a good ban here. It is odd. But we'll see if they do go to the Morphling or not. Or maybe another hero will come together as the draft picks up here. But Vega Squadron, They're having to figure out, do they want the Razor? Or do they want to go a different direction? If they don't pick Razor here, I mean, I don't think that Singularity is necessarily going to take it from them. Think about that too, but they are going to go the Razor. It worked so well for them the first game in this matchup. Why go away from it? So Razor it is.
I'm honestly so confused why Singularity didn't ban it out. I understand the Ember ban. We saw yesterday Pimenchek was able to win the Ember TA matchup, but that was only because of some lucky rotations and overextension by the Ember, so he wasn't able to get the kills. Ember, is a traditional counter to TA, so I do understand it, but we saw exactly what GPK was able to accomplish on this hero against Pimenchek, and exactly the same thing is going to happen once again. And that Razor, he was top farm with the Spectre on his team, and I found that so scary, so I'm really, really surprised that Singularity let this through. But maybe they have a better answer for the Razor this time. But I just don't think TA does very well in the safe lane. I think you have to have that TA Razor matchup, and it's not great for you.
Yeah, it's not, and they're going to have to somehow manage it with how the draft continues here. Maybe trying to apply more pressure onto the Razor earlier on in the game could be one way to do that, but there really isn't anything you could do in terms of swapping Templar Assassin to another lane. I mean, she pretty much needs to be mid. She needs those levels. So I definitely do not see that happening. But Singularity is spending plenty of time thinking about what they want to do right here. I keep going back to the Morphling. The potential Doom still there, as much as they've shown that they don't want the Doom. Still going to keep sanding, and maybe they'll finally pick it up. Bane is the third pick for Singularity. So they got their other support option for Miposhka to likely end up with the Bane.
Yeah, another support, and again they are playing around this Grimstroke with their supporting lineup, because double Fiend's Grip, it's I do list off all these double spells, but it really is what they're thinking about here. You want someone that you can just make them even better by the combination of your supports. And interesting enough, the Winter Wyvern here for the side of Vega. Obviously, you can save people from the physical damage of the TA with the Cold Embrace. But at the moment, the Winter's Curse isn't looking amazing. And now that they know what the support is going to be for the side of Vega Squadron, Team Singularity, they might be able to pick an off-lane duo that's able to pressure this lane. But it looks like you were right about the PL ban. They just don't want it going up against their Morphling, their tried and trusted Excalibur Morphling.
Yeah, I guess so. That's what it comes back to. And tried and tested, even as of yesterday, sure. But again, in this series, it has been shaky. I guess he only played it the previous game, right? He didn't play the first game. But it did not look the greatest last game. Different game, though. Different lineup and everything that they're up against. So set up to have a better time this time around. I guess Vega Squadron, looking at that lineup, they didn't necessarily draft to address a potential Morphling pick. They do have Lion Burst, which is nice, and his crowd control. But outside of him, it does feel like a pretty good Morphling game. So I do like it for that reason, for sure. And now, again, the ban on PL makes even more sense for them. Is there a hero, though, that they could still go here that would punish them for fourth pick, a Morphling? I'm trying to think of a 10th pick hero that would, obviously, a safe laner would need to be.
Yeah, because I think kind of the reason they were okay taking the Morphling here is because Vega Squadron, they have revealed their hand. They know there's not going to be another AA, because how they were able to play around that AA Ice Blast, I thought was really impressive by the side of Vega. They made sure he was always able to land it on the Morphling, and that really hurt his game. And I can't really think of a carry who massively punishes the Morphling. But honestly, you might just want to go back for that Wraith King or something like that. Someone, even if they are affected by the burst, they're still going to be back. They're still going to be tanky. And just continue on pushing with your lineup for the side of Vega.
Yeah, I was leaning towards that as well. The Wraith King almost feels like it still makes plenty of sense here for Vega Squadron, clearly a hero that they like. Now, it wouldn't be with the Cold Feast energy of an Ancient Apparition, so maybe not. But, a Centaur pick coming out for Singularity, though, with their final spot. So it's going to be an offlane Centaur. You saw the Legion Commander ban from Vega Squadron. But Centaur, the Stampede, is already doing plenty of work to help get away from that Link of Razor, and amongst other things. So I like the Centaur pick, but still stuck on Vega Squadron now, and who that final option is going to be. Maybe I'm also thinking the direction of something like a Diffusal Carrier, something like a Juggernaut comes to mind still. But
I mean, there is the Troll Warlord. I think Troll Warlord's really good against the Morphling if that's the kind of thing you want to do. And as you say, he can build into that Diffusal, and he just hits so fast that the Morphling's mana pool gets eviscerated very quickly. Or, you know, maybe even an Anti-Mage. We know they're not afraid of playing these hard carries over on Zani. You know, he can play these more tempo carries, as we saw from his rating, but he can play these harder carries like the Spectre. Although I think it will be a tough lane for the AM versus the Center War on a Grinstroke. So I'm not sure it's what you want to do.
Yeah, AM might be too greedy, but it's still possible though. It is good against Morphling in the later game, so they're going to use all their time.
Yeah, and I can't see any reason why they want to discuss their game plan. And wow, this is a CIS special here in the Chaos Knight.
That's one I did not see coming. But CK, I am looking at the AoE or the ways to clear Phantasm, by the way. They do not have the greatest at dealing with Phantasm, so that's already a good start for Chaos Knight. Centaur's okay, I suppose, but overall it's not strong.
And the CK got buffed, I would say, pretty hard. I mean, they increased the cooldown on his stun, but they made it a better stun overall, as well as Phantasm, I think, takes less damage, or that might just be with the Ags. I can't quite remember.
That's just with the Ags, yeah.
Okay, but the CK, he was decent in the last patch. We saw him last picked a few times, and you know, with that Phantasm, that's a lot of burst damage for the Morphling. You know, if he's able to get on top of that Morphling while he's stunned, you know, he's not going to be able to morph out of the raw damage of the Chaos Knight.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see it. You know, it's been a while since I've seen a CK. It always seems like it's a fun hero. I think he might go for a Midas into scaling. But actually, you know what, Zani, he's not the kind of guy to build a Midas. You know, lots of heroes like the Wraith King, they can get away with a Midas, but the side of Vega, they really seem to want to accelerate their tempo. So actually, I think he might just go for the Armlet and then go for the fights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would lean towards that, exactly, just because of the theme of what we've been seeing from them as a team as well as a player. Armlet into a heart even. If the game's going good enough, he could certainly look to go for. Yeah, I was looking at the changes again. Overall, I mean, I don't think the hero got crazy buffed by any means. You were mentioning about the Chaos Bolt. It's kind of one of those mixes. It's potentially more burst damage now, but it is a longer cooldown, so that's a somewhat concern. So we can't spam it as much in the fights and even the laning phase. His strength gain was also reduced from 3.7 to 3.4, so he did take a little bit of a hit there too when it comes to his scaling. But certainly, still one of the scarier late game heroes in Dota 2. If he has good farm by the time late game comes around, that Phantasm creation especially, it's good luck dealing with it. So he can take over a game for you. It is a good pick into the Morphling in the sense of lockdown. It's also a different direction than what we've been seeing lately, so that's another reason why I can appreciate it from Vega Squadron. So they're the ones that are up 2-0. They have a fallback, of course, of you a lineup that can definitely close us out. So Singularity. We'll see what they have up their sleeve.
Singularity here. They will feel a bit better about this Morphling game because they certainly have less ways to deal with him on the side of Vega Squadron. They no longer have that AA blast. I wonder if anyone is going to rush a very early Spirit Vessel here for the side of the Vega Squadron, because otherwise, you know, this attribute shift is just going to go uncontested. So for the side of Singularity, I do think they will feel a tiny bit better, but it really feels to me like it's on the back of Excalibur here, as well as Pinwich. Pinwich, I don't think he should be coming to these early fights until he gets his first item, because that's really where the downfall was for him in this first game as the Templar Assassin.
Danny, he went that level 1 Chaos Strike, so no stun from him, and now all of a sudden 3 heroes show up. He's going to go into the trees and hide. Something tells me this is going to be Singularity picking up this bounty rune pretty freely. Realizing that 3 heroes are there, but also that means the top lane, Lion and Brewmaster, are going to make sure to guarantee these runes, so probably we'll see the 2-for-2 split in the end. Yeah, you talk about who's going to get a Spirit Vessel. Looking at this lineup, it really isn't the greatest option, because Lion is not necessarily a hero that screams Spirit Vessel as a position for, so it's really going to come down to, do they think they need it against this Morphling, or do they figure they have enough burst damage and lockdown to kill him and not worry about his regen? So we'll see.
Yeah, Maposhka positioned here in this mid lane, thinking about a Courier Snipe. They did see him bottom, so they might think that he's still in this bottom lane. So I'll be curious to see if he is able to pick up the kill on the courier, or if they are going to play it safe for the side of Vega. And it looks like he is just TPing back. Realizes he has to support Excalibur. This morphling is so important for the side of Singularity here.
Yeah, trying to make sure he gets good farm. So Excalibur has that lane partner now against a Lion Brewmaster. Currently, bottom lane. Zani goes down. Okay, that was an Inkswell with Centaur. That is a really strong combo. I unfortunately missed it on camera, but I assume he just Inkswell, he ran in, he's calm. You can just imagine the lockdown, let alone the damage that can come out from that. So as he levels that up as well, this is going to be a very good aggressive lane.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised because CK, you know, he is a very tanky hero, as well as the Chaos Strike giving him a little bit of regen. But you're totally right. That magic damage burst, as well as the control you get from these two spells, it's nothing to be underestimated in the line. And they are abusing the fact that there is a Winter Wyvern here, because Winter Wyvern, you are able to slow and damage, but you don't have any sort of stun to keep them off your carry.
And Cold Embrace doesn't really do anything because it's so much magic damage that it obviously doesn't care about the Cold Embrace being applied. In fact, you could argue that's probably worse for the Chaos Knight. So, yeah, this really isn't the best lane support when you think about it for the CK against this matchup here. And certainly Singularity is making the best of it. So they need that. They need that to be good, and they are making it good because you look at the CS of the other lanes right now. Brewmaster, he's doing very good up top. And as expected, Razor is also doing very good to start in the mid lane. It's now 10-5 against a 5-2 Templar Assassin. So this is the matchup that they set up for. And it's being heavily abused by GPK, who's now, this is going to be the third game where something tells me he's going to continue to be very impressive as well. I mentioned So Bad really standing out. GPK as the mid is another one of these players I have never really heard of before, frankly, but is really standing out in the success of this team.
Yeah, GPK, they've set him up for success every single game. They've given him good picks in the mid lane, but sometimes you see that happen and it's just squandered, but definitely not the case here. He's been able to make real impact with the farm priority that he's been able to get, as well as the positive lanes. So you're right, just very impressive play all around, and not just mechanically in the mid lane, but what comes after, which is often quite harder for mid players because, you know, you see these pub stars, so they're very mechanically skilled individually, but GPK making good rotations and playing well with his team once he does get that advantage.
Keep looking back at Brewmaster, though. He is top CS right now, and they've been heavily applying pressure to Morphling, as expected. Bane getting some good damage on So Bad playing the Lion. Unable to finish him, though, but Bane, now with level 2, has a Nightmare to assist, and So Bad is going to have to walk it off. Doesn't have much regen on him as the boots currently, but he might just go all the way back to base, it looks like. Yeah, gonna get the mana so he can continue to be useful. He continues to dance as well. He's feeling himself, as understandably should be. Feeling pretty good, about 2-0 lead right now, and starting game number 3 at least. A pull from Wyvern at the bottom lane means Jerry and Joshua are just going to run after Chaos Knight. And they land the initial stun with the Centaur. They get the Inkswell as well, but CK, I think, the life still kicks in, but the double edge comes out. A level 1 double edge and retaliate damage, doing so much. He does indeed fall again. Yeah,
they were able to kill him even with a level 1 retaliate, and this just gets all that harder. Shastra gets more points into the retaliate just because they're already demonstrating that they have the lockdown, they have the slow, they're able to remain on the CK, and people always sleep on the amount of right-click damage that you're able to do as a Centaur once you have a few stacks and a few levels into retaliate.
Miposhka running away as both the Lion and the Brewmaster chasing after him. I suppose that's good news in that it distracts to make sure Morphling can get at least a couple of CS before they head back to the lane. As they do right here. But it has been 3 very difficult laning phases for Excalibur. That's, to his credit, they've really made sure to lock him down because they know how good of a player he is as a core, and they do not want him to have a comfortable game. Remember the Drow, the first game, for example, he got nothing in the laning phase. So in last game, he made the adjustment and eventually started recovering, but game 3 is looking similar to the start of game 2 more playing as Bounty Rune control. Miposhka, he's blocking Liner, trying to. Can you really get this? Wow. All 4 going the way of Singularity. Talk about a feel-good moment.
Yeah, they're the only ones who have got kills. They're the ones getting all 4 bounty runes. They might not be winning into CS in top and bottom, but especially with a kill on Miposhka, you know, Excalibur, you might not be able to get CS, but why not just CS heroes? And that looks to be his objective.
Very well played. And that was also a Bane without boots that was able to get there first, and a lot of that because of the body block. Lion, though, TP bottom, trying to make the best of his death. The reality rip chaos ball. Here comes the response, but being swelled up. There's the ear spike, though. And with the splinter blast on top of that, Jerry attempted to run. Good job of the hoof stomp. Centaur might have just saved his teammate and made this rotation a moot point. It looks like that is the case. Although Jerry, he stuck around for the stroke, and he goes down because of that. All right. Well, he got a little too antsy there. And Lion able to make the rotation a success in the end.
Yeah, good identification that they just had the damage, and Lion able to get the last right click in. I thought the Splinter Blast would be able to get the kill, but J4 having it stolen by this Lion, you know, just comes to his lane, steals his kills. But they've seen the Lion bottom, and this means they know Last Hero is by himself, and this should definitely let Excalibur at least feel a bit more confident walking up to this creep wave.
Yeah, as he is. It's all the way pushed up to the tier 1 tower, but he is fine being there for now. I do notice CK, even with the 2 deaths, is managing to have a slightly better CS score than Centaur, so despite those couple of kills, CK is certainly contesting very well. He is doing better than, well, not really actually, because net worth Morphling is doing better than Chaos Knight, so never mind. The CS just looking impressive for the Radiant, but the net worth right now is looking slightly better for Singularity. Only 7 minutes in, and so ultimately very close, of course, but take that as you will, as we are going to hit that 7-minute mark as an Observer Ward destroyed by Maposhka in the bottom rune area, so it's a nice bounty for him.
Yeah, Gianni, he has put a lot into surviving in this lane. I think this is his second set of tangos, as well as he had to stop off for the infused raindrop. So, you know, just that little bit more survivability, and they've even been able to kill him twice with that. And Mapochka here in this bottom lane looks like J4's in trouble.
He is dead trouble, in fact. The TP just canceled. There's no point. Yeah, that was going to happen way too quickly. So J4 just gets collapsed. A triangle rotation around him by 3 heroes. And now Zani's by himself. The TP got canceled, whoever that was initially. And now Brewmaster's like, well, I guess I can come help. Does he have Primal Split? He does. Lion walks over as well. So now Zani going to set up a turn. The Chaos Bolt hits. Bane running away. Thunderclap activated by Brewmaster. So he doesn't Primal Split for this. Look at the Cinder Brew. Doesn't have mana even at this point to use it, but they end up chasing down Bane. And that was even 4 heroes coming together because J4 also TP's back into assist.
Yeah, I do want to say Pinvicek is doing what he should have done the other game. You know, he was losing this mid lane, but he seems to have stacks made for him in the jungle. He's just farming up in the jungle, so he's actually ahead, #1 in the net worth here in this TA, who had a, you know, pretty rough time in mid. He was definitely getting beaten in the CS and the denies, but because he's identified the correct time to go to jungle, he knows he's a lot faster at farming this than the Razor. So hopefully if Pinvicek doesn't rotate before he gets that Desolator, we will finally get to see the power of the TA.
That we've certainly seen before, and even in these last couple of days. So yeah, Pinvicek setting up to do that. Razor, he is contesting with farm though with the TA as for a top farm in the game. And right now the double Wraithband phase boots. We'll see if he gets that Rod of Atos again. It does feel pretty good this game as well. So I would assume that's going to be the case from Razor. But CK's feeling some pressure. He's okay. He's almost collapsed on by 4 heroes. Yeah, he was just poking in right there, but he pops Phantasm for this. Here comes the Primal Split as well. And J4 nearby. Zani pulls it with a reality rift onto Jerry. Gets the kill. Down goes CK though. But now Shoshlo and Pinvicek in trouble themselves. Hiding into that meld. There's the Stampede from Shoshlo. Going to run to the right as Pinvicek makes his way north. Is lifted up by the Brewmaster, but Brewmaster by himself, I don't think is getting a kill with this. I mean, the lift lasts forever. Here's refracted up. Pinvicek gonna hide once again, and now they do not have detection. So Jerry nearby, but Pinvicek comes out quickly. Another meld though. He's just gonna kind of toy with him as the board does come in. Razor gets turned back. Pinvicek finally falls. Last hero able to finish the job. So GA kept wanting to assist and ends up costing him his life, and now J4 slept up with a Nightmare. Surrounded by the 3 heroes. He's on an awkward spot on the ledge, but a double kill for Shoshlo. And this is very similar to last game now, it's feeling like, where it's insane action is picked up as 10-minute bounty runes have been spawning, and Brewmaster does go down because he was sticking around to try to at least pick it up, which he doesn't even get. Singularity is going to get 3 of these bounty runes, so Singularity really has to be benefiting from those.
Yeah, it's very similar to last game, as you say, with these long, scrappy fights, but this time, massively in favor of the side of Singularity. Just not having detection for that Temporal Assassin time and time again. Just hides in the meld, is able to get up that meld strike, and there's nothing they can do about her. Obviously, she does eventually go down. That's not who you want to be losing. But the fact that you kill off the Brewmaster with the first usage of his split didn't really net that much. You forced out the first CK ulti. And yeah, amazing fight for the side of Singularity. I think Shasho, he hit level 6 in the middle of that fight as well. So you saw that Stampede, which allowed them to reset up near their tower, allowed for more rotations in for the side of Singularity, and also killing off that Razor. So killing off all 3 cores for the side of Vega Squadron in that fight. So a massive props to the side of Singularity. And my MVP of that little fight there has to be Shashlo. I think he just did so much work in that fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We know Singularity is a great team, and that's why it is a little surprising almost to see them not only down 2-0, but with the performances of Vega Squadron, how much better they have looked in the series. But this is the best, I think it's fair to say, for Singularity that they've looked in the series right now here today, and at least have the good start. We're still early, 10.5 minutes in, but they are getting the momentum for TA. She has 1,600 gold saved up, so one of the Mithril Hammers potentially going to be purchased here soon, and then, of course, needs the second one to finish the Desolator. Is going to be joined up with Grimstroke, though, as he just places some wards down, and the rest of the team pushing bottom. They take out a Tier 1 tower down there. Morphling. Morbid Mask has been purchased, the casual Morbid. He's going to go the Manta style. As, oh, there's another pause. Apparently, looks like they're still lagging a little bit.
Algs. I like that one. That's a...
Love the misspell.
Yeah, but Excalibur, he's having a bit, well, not just a bit, a much more better time. I'm looking at the net worth here, and you can see 3 of the top 4 all for the side of Singularity, and this has not been the case at all in the previous games for them coming out of the lanes. And Excalibur, he's got his Morbid Mask already online. That's going to mean he can farm the jungle with impunity, and so we are finally looking at a game that looks like Singularity are going to be able to achieve their game plan. But I don't think Vega is going to let them get away with this. I think once they have the Rod of Atos here on GPK, we might see that typical Vega aggression that we've seen for the rest of the games of Vega here.
Yeah. Pause. Still, again, trying to figure out the lag issue for Singularity. But at least they have the lead of a 3,000 net worth lead right now. Razor. Are we getting confirmation? Yeah, he is going the Rod of Atos as they are about to kill the Tier 1 tower up at the top lane. What about Chaos Knight? Nothing yet confirmed, but I don't know. Because of the slower start, I think there is an argument to be made that he could go the Hand of Midas and try to be more of that recovering / I want to try to, make sure we're scaling very well into the late game because the start isn't going as well as we hoped for. So I could see that logic. From the CK's perspective and as a team. So perhaps he may still go the Midas as a little bit later on here, but we'll see as I'm talking about it, he queues up the armlet. So I'm sure they're even discussing it themselves right now, but well, for now he has the armlet at least.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. We know Vega, they love this early aggression. Ziani, he doesn't like to sit back and farm. He likes to get involved as a carrion. The armlet most certainly will enable him to do that. Even if it is a tiny bit riskier, as it will stop him scaling massively into late game because CK doesn't have any great sort of farm acceleration. But I do kind of like going for the armlet. Vega, they're so good at fighting. Why not do what you do best?
Yeah, CK is definitely good at that. Phantasm, especially when it's ready to go. So, best of 5 finals here. Of course, I know a lot of people are excited about another event that starts tomorrow. It's going to be, this has been a fun tournament, really the first online event, I guess you could say, post 7.22. So we've had a lot of fun casting in and following the team, seeing some strategies that they've been figuring out. But a lot of the top teams even are going to be competing starting tomorrow, of course, at the ESL event and on this new patch. So we're going to get even more of an idea of what's strong in this patch moving forward. So always exciting when a new, bigger patch happens, such as this one, and seeing how the teams make adjustments and what heroes start to pop up as a result. So plenty more of that to come, but we're back in Game 3 at least.
Yeah, that tournament is probably really going to help shape the meta of what we see in 7.22 things to come, but it's nice to get a little preview here in Chile.
Excalibur still pushing up on him. It's met by last hero and immediately throws out the adapter strikes. Say hello. It's his way of doing it, I suppose. Got the clarity working for him, so making use of that region he has activated. As Radiant team, they're working towards the bottom lane as if they want to wrap around, but there is a ward here from Singularity that's been placed. So if they were to start to collapse, Excalibur would know. As I say this, he gets a little bit greedier and farms his camp, and now Lions rotating in. J4 also coming in to assist. Bane goes up to sleep. Wyvern takes it off. The Lion runs the other direction. He takes the sleep off himself. They're going back and forth. Out comes the Soulbind now. They're trying to save one another. And Excalibur getting very low right there. He almost died initially. Now he's shifting and throws back to his main form. The Finger of Death, not enough damage for the kill initially, but with the link up that whole time from Razor, he absorbs plenty of damage to take him out. Now TA's also caught. Lifted up. They're going to go. That plus 91 damage working for Razor as well. Refraction helping initially. Gets hit by the boulder though. And now she's done in place. Grimstroke doing everything he can, but it's not enough. Double kill for GPK. And just like that, it's like clockwork for Vega Squadron again. They just turn it on. The car. They get in the vehicle. They're like, all right, now's the time. And the acceleration's on.
Yeah, I have to say though, J4, that Winter's Curse, he was a second out from not being able to use it, and it literally just set up the entire fight, because you catch the Morphling, you catch both the support, and that just allows time for Vega Squadron to be able to get in position. You're able to use that link on the Morphling while he's affected by the Winter's Curse, able to see up all that damage, and it just led to all the follow-up. So honestly, J4, he set up that entire fight right there. So great work by the Winter Wyvern here.
Props to him. And Chaos Knight almost has the full armor now finished. GPK, I believe the Rod of Aegis is also coming out. So again, Vega Squadron, they're hitting this mark now, about 14 minutes into the game. They're going to have their first big items on set heroes. They've had a Vlad's on Brewmaster even in that previous fight. Of course, a great fighting tool to take advantage of. And if both yesterday and this theory so far today tells us anything, Vega's going to keep the pressure on. I mean, they're going to finish these items in full and likely push another objective, whether that's the bottom tier 1. They have an okay Roshan team, so that could be a possibility in the near future as well, but they probably want to get some vision up, of course, from the dire jungle especially, before they would go for that. But a couple of heroes are making their way top right now as I say this, and in fact, J4, he's coming in for a warning mission.
Yeah, I do want to point out, however, we've talked a lot about this CK's items, and it looks like he has been listening to the cast, and he's decided to go for that Hand of Midas, really just wanting to secure the late game for the side of Vega, it looks like.
Interesting. Okay, so yeah, he does change his mind there. So he bought the recipe, and now he just needs to Gloves of Haste to finish in full. So yeah, as I was saying earlier, it's that logic of, you know what, maybe it's not as fast of a start. Let's just get the Hand of Midas, secure much more of the later game as a result of that pickup. So I like it. I like the adjustment there from Chaos Knight. Arguments for both, but I think this is a good choice. So bad, he needs TPs quickly. Nothing's happening though. And he's going to be surrounded to death. 4 heroes coming in. 15 minutes spawn, though, the bounty rune, so that's why the raiding heroes weren't there to help. But good find, though, from Singularity.
Yes, I also think for the side of Vega Squadron, he wouldn't have felt comfortable enough going for this Hand of Midas if they hadn't won that big fight bottom. He might have felt like, you know, we have to fight ourselves back into the game. But they knew they had at least managed to stall out the snowball on the side of Singularity. But Pimwin Check with this Desolator already taking a tier 2 tower. So both sides actually getting a lot of map control, just trading tower for tower.
There's the tier 2 tower kill. Chaos Knight suddenly another 700 gold saved up after he's gotten the Hand of Midas, so accelerating quickly. Lions protecting the bottom tier 3. Goes with the Earth Spike initially, the Hex. And just keep them off. Stampede activated just to run out of there. So Shoxley using a very early Stampede. They're also pinging out the Shrine as if somebody might be TPing in, but that's not the case. Radiant team wasn't committing that hard to it. Just simply trying to scare them off, which they do exactly that. So solid defense from Vega Squadron. And back to farm we go. Razor, of course, sitting with the Rod as mentioned. Has an Ogre Club, or an Ogre Axe now even. So we are going to see the BKB to follow for him next in line. But this is a 3-man Smoke Ink around the Razor mid lane. Vega, that's no surprise, is looking to keep the pressure up.
Yeah, that Stampede was really nice by Shasha. You know, they forced the rotations back from Vega, but they're not overextending their welcome here in the bottom lane. So they just don't want to feed away this TA again like they did the previous game. You know, she has died twice now, but Ever since she's had her Desolator, been playing fairly safe, farming up these jungles. And is she going a Hurricane Pike first, actually, before the Blink Dagger? That's what it looks like to me.
On TA?
Sorry.
Oh my god.
Yeah, at least the Dragon Lance. Not the full Hurricane Pike. Oh! Well, they found Jerry.
Venom's Embrace applied initially. Not going to be the saving grace, though. He goes down despite the Inkstill hitting all 4 heroes. Was not in time. So, yeah, good find there from Vega. That is a curious choice. Does have the Ogre Axe, so yeah, at least going the Dragonlance. And I think that alone is maybe even feeling about from previous game, you know, even in that game 1, figuring I need to be a little tankier, I suppose. So that's the only thing I can get from that, because really, you normally would see that Blink, and they do have initiation from Centaur with his Blink eventually coming here. In fact, he has a gold for it. Morph linking it in there with the waveform, so not feeling it's as necessary, I suppose. I get it, but yeah, it certainly is not something we see often. We just are so used to seeing the Blink as well as the Desolator in combo.
It's exactly for that reason. It's just so that Ping Reject tanks up. He knows what happens in fights is if he gets caught out, he's very susceptible to being burst. So just that extra bit of stats is hopefully able to make him live through it. At least the rest of his team either come save him, or he might be able to even turn it around. Never underestimate the raw damage output from a Temporal Assassin. But Shashlo has this Blink Tag. I think this is going to be the reveal here.
GPK. Oh, wow. He walked away perfectly. I guess they do have the war. That makes more sense. I was about to say spider sense is tingling, but no.
No, he broke this this massive smoke. He suddenly sees 3 heroes hitting on top of him. Shashlo, I don't think they had the vision because he was farming that camp very safely from a far distance. So heads up play for the side of GPK though, because he was farming that camp like there could be a whole group of heroes walking towards him. So yeah, does manage to save his life. The fact that he is just playing that little bit safe.
He saw Maposhka counterward immediately after too, realizing, all right, there's something here, and sure enough, he was right. With the Observer Ward. Zani, he's almost got the armless finish. In fact, there we go, the purchase of the recipe. So that's going to be flying out now. So a little bit later than would have been, of course, initially going for it, but Animitis is now allowing to accelerate that much better. And Razor's also keeping up with the TA, but Morphlin, we haven't talked about him for a bit. He's almost got a Manta style finished. He's trying to live here. Stampede to help. And the waveform away means Excalibur is good for now, but there's a lot of HL. Centaur going back in with a stop, so they got to see my teammate. He's doing a hell of a job of it so far, but now the Primal Split use. Mana Drain on Centaur, slowing him down, burning the rest of the mana left. And Shashlo, don't think he's going to get out of this one as the Vanguard's helping, but eventually the rock comes out and he does fall. Bane, Maposhka, hit by the Earth Spike and a couple of auto attacks later. Killing spree for GPK, so Vega Squadron may not have got the prime kill initially, but they get 2, and they're going to get a tower cut out of this as well.
Yeah, and I don't think they're going to stop at 1 tower. They're going to look for this last tier 2 that remains for the side of Singularity. Actually, just as I say that, they are looking to TP away, at least on the Winter Wyvern, because it is bounty runes. So actually, just that objective of the bounty runes might be enough to stop this push. But yeah, I was I was a bit surprised that So Bad blew his finger after the Hex, but Shashlo able to save his Morphling because he probably wouldn't have lived through the follow-up Burst Spike as well as the rest of the damage coming out from the side of Vega Squadron if he hadn't gone for that Stampede. So he's been very good with those saving Stampedes, but they just stuck around a little bit too long thinking they could take this fight under the tower. But Vega again bringing the successful numbers, and now for the first time in the game, they are ahead in the net worth.
Yeah, if anything, very, very even. But yeah, I just remember a couple minutes ago it was maybe 4 to 5K lead for Singularity. I was going to point that out, but certainly closing the gap by Vega Squadron. Of course, to go back to the Hannah Midas, how that is helping. And Brewmaster also now has a Hood of Defiance. In fact, does he have a full pipe? Something's coming out. Yeah, he has a full pipe coming out on the Brewmaster too. Roshan apparently of interest for both teams all of a sudden. Centaur, he lands the hoofstomp uphill though. Brewmaster running away, pops up pipe, and now distraction time. Phantasm Army just bursts down. Bane in the backlands, Winter's Curse on Templar Assassin, and TA's now in trouble. Chaos Bolt is going to be locked in place. Being mentioned, trying to run. Refraction pop. She has another meld coming into play, and she's just going to keep walking though. For the time being, Bubble back in by the Reality Rift. There's a time for the meld. They don't have vision currently. They're going to Earth Spike, Thunderclap. They finally get the kill thanks to all the AoE around. So TA's dead, and here comes the army pushing down mid lane. Vega Squadron continues to impress with their decisions and team play.
Yeah, just a great fight from the side of Vega Squadron as they're about to kill Jerry. just realizing that they're so tanky and they can go this deep. They have a catapult as well for this wave. And again, I just have to praise J4. You see a lot of Winter Wyverns hold this Winter's Curse to be able to get a kill, you know, wait for someone sitting around their teammates. But J4, he's not afraid to do it to set up a good fight for himself. And so that, you know, they just use it for the TA, and it allows the entire team to be able to set up around her. Even though they didn't have vision for the Melds, you know, they have more than enough AoE. GPK, this unstable current, you don't need to see anyone to get the kill, and that's just an easy set of barracks for the side of Vega Squadron.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, what was maybe going to be a Roshan fight ends up being a set of racks favoring Vega Squadron at 22 minutes into this game. And there's nothing that was suggesting that they were going to be pushing uphill anytime soon. But, you know, they make the best of the situation with 3 heroes dead. They go right into the base, and sure enough, that is a racks destroyed. So Singularity really losing momentum. It's been about a 7,000 to 8,000 net worth swing in the last 5 minutes or so, favoring Vega Squadron. And you look back at Templar Assassin, she does have the Dragonlance finish. She is committing towards the full Hurricane Pike, so wants to go a different direction, wants a tool that she can use even if she happens to get jumped, unlike the Blink, of course. So again, go back to perhaps just the logic, kind of the safety net. But they do not have as good of a catch, and obviously not going to Blink Dagger earlier on from TA means that pressure wasn't necessarily felt on the Radiant team, but Winter Wyvern certainly feeling pressure right there. As they just jump him in the trees, they're going to get a tier 1 tower with this, so a nice fight from Singularity still being shown. They ping out Roshan. This could get interesting if they go for Roshan, which it looks like they are.
I mean, with Winter Wyvern dead, that's the big skill for the side of Vega Squadron to fight around the pit. Also, Bruce Split, they know it was used in the previous engagement, so there's a time without that. They do actually have Phantasm still on the CK, but just these 2 heroes alone aren't able to do it.
Oh, Soul Blind opening, double edge coming out as well. Bane's picked off up quickly. There's a Phantasm. Buyback from Bane, and Wyvern's now back up. He's going to start TPing, and I'm sure Excalibur pulled in with the router and gets a shift off. The crits are happening though, and Excalibur really gets out for the time being. There's Spice to pull back in, and finally goes down. Roshan still has plenty of life. SMG's trying to run now. Here comes Wyvern. Jerry with the TP. He is dead. Curse is ready for Wyvern if they can catch up. Bane is caught up to with the Rod of Atos. And GPK 224 damage, thank you very much. Unstoppable indeed is Razor, and now it's the turn of Vega Squadron. So yeah, an opening for Singularity with the Wyvern being dead and no primal split, but still, it doesn't matter.
The one thing I really have to wonder about the Singularity is because they don't have this Blink Dagger over here on Pinwin Check, she's not able to get on top of whoever they're initiating. You know, she is their main damage dealer at this point of time. Obviously, Excalibur will get there at the point, but the TA is still the early burst damage. And you see really nice initiations from Jerry. He's able to get off his ultimate as well as the double silence. They have a fair amount of control, the follow-up from the Centaur, but there's no damage coming in because Pinwin without that Blink Dagger, isn't able to get into the midst of the fight. And I feel that's what they're really lacking here. So I really am questioning this Hurricane Pike. Obviously, it has made him a bit more survivable, but it feels like it's meant they haven't had the damage and the follow-up in these fights.
That's a heart now in Chaos Knight. 25 minutes into the game, CK has the Armlet Heart to go with the Hand of Midas. And Radiant team is still hunting. Oh, big curse to start. Grimstroke caught. He might even die in the midst of this. Primal Roar, or not even Primal Roar, but Primal Split used right there by the Brewmaster. And Bane is also to fall likely after there too. So they get the most supports. Another great curse from J4 to start. And the creep wave eventually going to get here to take off the back door, as they are now going to beat down the tier 2 tower, and I don't see them stopping. You know, there's no reason for them to. They have an Aegis on Razor. They're feeling very good right now at 8,000 net worth lead, 9,000 even. After the tower kill, they're going to go right on the uphill. They don't have a Primal Split, of course, or a Curse, but they do have a Phantasm, and that's going to be proc right there. Used even. They pulled in the TA hiding with that Metal Refraction, but now it's worn off. Golden Ring saving line, meanwhile, off to the side. King Ventic, the damage being trained, and the beatdown commences from Chaos Knight. She is dead for 50 seconds. Vega Squadron looking unstoppable and on the verge of taking a grand final 3-0 right now.
I don't know if you saw it, but Pumacek, he was sitting here in the meld and he actually 2-shots the Brewmaster. But it really doesn't matter that you kill off the Brewmaster for these team fights anymore, because he had already used his Primal Spirit in that early engagement. Obviously, he offers a nice pipe and the Aura of Lads, but it doesn't really matter.
Double Beam's grip. Nope, it stopped though. Lion stopped it. Cold Embrace also helping out. As far as the safety net goes, the Singularity trying to initiate, but they don't have a lot of damage, of course, with TA dead. and not fighting back. So they do eventually finish off Lion, but Centaur falls. And Morphling, he's going to have to reset. He has the Manta Style. That's really it, though. He's sitting on a Mithril Hammer toward the BKB. But again, the damage lacking big time without Templar Assassin. So yeah, the quick kill on Brewmaster was nice and all, but losing your life in the process, not worth it. They lose the racks. And that's now 2 sets of racks going away of Vega Squadron. So they're going to reset. No point to force the issue once again. Maybe kill a Shrine or 2. And get bigger and better items such as the Shivas on Eraser, which is now finished as well.
Yeah, but you know, for the side of Vega, all they really expended for that push was the buyback on the Brewmaster, and you know, he just came back to make sure to really secure it for them. But with this, they get their second lane of racks. They still have Aegis remaining. They're gonna have the Phantasm right back up on Gianni, and so literally they just go to this top lane and they look for this final push. And the side of Singularity, they need one wonderful fight. You know, I'm just trying to think about the orchestration they could get going, and you know, it has to be a soul bind on the Razor and the CK into the double Fiend script and the double adaptive strike. They need so much to work to be able to win a fight that it honestly just sounds impossible as I say it.
Well, Templar is going to use that Hurricane Pike to get away. Also throw out some return damage on GPK, but we mentioned the Shivas that he just got, so it kind of tickles him a little bit, but that's it. And he's now going to push up into the base with the rest of the team. The Primal Split already activated. I like seeing how last year was going in this Brewmaster in that sense too. He's using the Primal Split very aggressively to deter them from jumping in rather than as a reaction tool almost. Excalibur, by the way, is more into Brewmaster. That's why we see the second one, but he's just going to be lifted up and out of the fight. And again, this would be mega creeps if they killed his rack. So Singularity trying their darnest to defend. The pulling on center, he missed the stop initially. Now he's in trouble. Excalibur also dropping double his finger. Yeah, finished him off from Lion. Buyback immediately on both heroes as they both got taken out. Templar Assassin now in trouble too, though. Caught by the Rod of Atos. Hurricane Pike away with the refraction. All that damage being stolen though from Razor. And a double kill for Zani. TA does have a buyback, but really doesn't matter at this point. Probably not. Just going to sit on it. Finally does. But I think it's a lost cause. Zani is on fire. He gets a triple kill. GG, well played. Vega Squadron are your Chi League Invitational European champions. They did not drop a single game in this tournament.
Yeah, I'm just honestly a little bit speechless. We expected Singularity to at least be able to take one game here, but Vega Squadron, they look so incredibly strong. This was the first game where, you know, they didn't come out of the lanes ahead. Singularity, you know, they looked like they had a decent lead. It looked like their game plan was working for the first time. Excalibur didn't get pressured out of his lanes and didn't do terribly. You know, Pinwichet was #1 on net worth. Even though they picked the GPK Razor into Pinwichet, they countered him, but he was doing so well. But Vega, they fight so damn well. That fight in the bottom lane, the setup, it really all felt like it turned around once they got that Winter's Curse over onto Pinwichet, as well as the 2 supports. They were able to just chase for kill after kill. And then from there, it was just fight after fight in Vega's direction. And Singularity, they weren't able to do anything from that point on. And yet, just massive props to the side of Vega. I feel they played this so well. They correctly identified, you know, we'll wait till we have our Atos. And once we have a few items, we are ready to fight, even if we're a tiny bit behind in net worth.
Again, I'm not going to sit here and overblow everything. It's, you know, this is a great event. What people consider it to be, you know, it's tier 2, tier 3 teams, even in some cases, however you want to put it. But it is still a very impressive performance, absolutely, for a team to go undefeated, especially a team with a roster of, again, it's just not the most known players. I consider myself somebody that follows and pays attention to a lot of Dota and these scenes. It's not easy to know every single scene in and out, of course, and especially the lower tier scenes, but I've casted a lot of CIS and European Dota, and I've never seen at least 3 of these players. I'm not sure about last year. I feel like I've seen last year maybe before, but again, so bad GPK and Zani, I can say for certain I've really never seen these guys before. Very impressive players, though, and I think Vega Squadron certainly has something here when it comes to this roster, and they're happy to have this roster together. So talk about, apparently, again, a roster that was just formed in full less than a week ago, winning their first online tournament, which you got some solid teams in. I mean, from Empire to Windstrike to Singularity, as we see here, they're the final tribe. I mean, they're all very solid teams. Absolutely something to be proud of if you're a Vega Squadron, and we'll see how they continue to move forward. Obviously, now we're in a point of the season for the DPC where all that's really left is the TI qualifiers to look forward to. But anything. Hey, we've seen crazier things happen, right? When it comes to qualifiers, especially, and even for TI itself. So best of luck to them moving forward as they do claim the title here once again over Singularity. Singularity getting to the finals, impressive in itself, but again, they cannot figure out Vega. They went 0-5 against Vega in this tournament. That really is something. They just could not figure them out at all, and Vega clearly the better team in this matchup. But that's it.
There's just nothing to take away from Vega Squadron here. I mean, in the course of this, someone who is going to the minor, Winstrike, one of the best 20 teams in the world, or roughly around that, that they were able to beat them. And, that this puts you at very solid tier 2 territory. And if they are looking this good now at the beginning of this patch, give them a bit more time to round it out, give them a bit more time to grow as a team. And I wouldn't be surprised to see if they are able to make it through the CIS qualifiers and make it to the TI. And it'd be a pleasure to see that growth. And, we would get to say, we saw them first. We caught this Vega squad first on their rise up.
We made this. Yes. That'll be what I'll be spamming in chat when they qualify for TI. I made this. No, but again, it's a tough region as all of them really are. So certainly no guarantees there, but again, still excited, I'm sure, about this, as they should be, and they claim their share of that prize pool. So congratulations. Singularity is still not going home empty-handed. They get the 3,000 for finishing runner-up. So at least have that going for themselves. But Vega, the better team. That means we are officially done, though. We casted some Dota these last 3 days now, and not only for Chi League, but of course, patch 7.22. We got a special surprise there. That was really cool that we got to benefit from for this tournament. So I was happy to do this, happy to be here. But before we do officially wrap up, Hasbaz, any last words from yourself before we go?
Just it's been so enjoyable. It's exactly as you say, having a fresh patch really reinvigorates the team, and it's just such a pleasure to cast. And especially the one thing I do want to praise Singularity for, even though they weren't able to take a game in this final, is they have definitely been the ones at least trying the new thing from this patch. We saw Excalibur getting the Ags and the Morphling. We saw the Grimstroke Ag, so they've really been trying it out. So props to them with that. And my last thing, I'm just going to self-promote absolutely shamelessly here. I am at Hasbaz Games over on Twitter. If you've enjoyed what I've been saying, please follow me. And thank you very much again to Breaky and Chi League for having me here to cast. Thank you so much again. And thank you very much to chat for watching.
Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed some good Dota these last 3 days, including today, the grand finals, 3-0 for Vega Squadron. But once again, we are wrapping up, as I was Breaky CPK. Follow me on Twitter at Breaky CPK. Asbaz, as he mentioned his as well, my co-caster, and shout out one more time to Chi League for throwing these events. It really is good that these tournaments still exist, and there's organizations out there that are willing to, put in the time, the resources, the money, of course, on top of that, to throw these events, because a hot topic as usual comes back and forth is the tier 2 scene, tier 3 scene. Maybe not the most support for it all the time. It's tournaments like this that allow these up-and-coming teams to have good opportunity, make a name for themselves, and Vega Squadron certainly took full advantage of that here. So one last time, congratulations to them. They're their Chi League Invitational European Region Champions. This was the third Chi League event. I've been fortunate enough to be a part of the 3 of them throughout this last year, and I'm sure that they're going to keep going with it. From my understanding, they're enjoying putting on these tournaments, so already look forward to the next one. What region it may be, we'll see. But that is it. Wrapping up one more time. Have a good night, guys. Congrats, Vega Squadron.